Broadcasting live from the Albay PIO News Center, providing you the most exclusive news update from all over the province. This is News at 12. News at 12.
For the local scene, more than 38,000 farmers and fisherfolk in Albay are set to receive cash assistance under the Presidential Assistance for Farmers and Fisherfolk program of the Department of Agriculture in Bicol. The payout officially started in Bacacay, where qualified beneficiaries received more than 2,000 each to help address the effects of economic challenges and the continuing activity of Mayon volcano. The program covers beneficiaries from 18 local government areas across Albay, with OWAS recording the highest number of recipients, followed by Libon. The Albay Provincial Agriculture Office thanked Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and national government agencies for prioritizing assistance to the agriculture sector as the Department of Agriculture continues to process support for farmers and fisherfolk. Meanwhile, the Provincial Health Office continues to provide medical assistance and essential supplies to residents affected by the ongoing activity of Mayon volcano. Medicines, face masks, and bottled water were distributed to evacuees staying at the evacuation center in Malilipot, also known as Tent City, including bottled water donated by Mercury Drug Foundation. The Tabaco City Health Office received face masks and bottled water to support affected communities and help protect residents from health risks caused by volcanic ashfall and prolonged displacement. Provincial Health Office Officer in Charge Carl Hegel Ante personally visited affected areas to oversee coordination efforts, monitor health response operation, and assess the conditions of the place residents amid the continuing unrest of Mayon volcano. Meanwhile, the Sangguniang Panlalawigan of Albay has declared valid and operative at Tabaco City Ordinance, establishing a watershed and coastal management program to strengthen environmental protection and sustainable resource use. The measure also aims to improve community protection against climate-related risks through proper environmental management and provides for the creation of a management council to oversee implementation and enforce regulation. The proposed ordinance was reviewed by the Committee on Environment and Natural Resources chaired by Brian Arandia and includes penalties for violations under the measure. In the national scene, possible location of Senator Ronald De La Rosa have been identified by the National Bureau of Investigation as tracker teams were formed to serve as International Criminal Court arrest warrant. Melvin Matibag said no timeline for arrest has been set, while intelligence networks and other agencies assist in monitoring identified location following instruction from the Department of Justice. The Presidential Communication Office said the government is prepared to enforce warrants, while Undersecretary Claire Castro urged individuals linked to the case involving former President Rodrigo Duterte to surrender if no court orders is issued. In a related story, the National Bureau of Investigation has called on Senator Robin Padilla to clarify how Senator Ronald Bato de la Rosa left the Senate after being placed under protective custody during an arrest attempt linked to International Criminal Court case. NBI Director Melvin Matibag said Padilla is urged to cooperate after confirming that de la Rosa rode with him and was later dropped off in Makati. Matibag also asked the Senate to define protective custody, stressing it should not prevent a person from being made available to authorities when required by law. In another story, the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte has been described by House Prosecution Panel spokesperson Zia Alonto Adyong as a test of Philippine democracy amid rising political tensions. Adyong said the proceeding provides a democratic forum where both sides are allowed to present evidence and arguments before the Senate impeachment court. Duterte is facing allegation of misuse of confidential funds, unexplained wealth, bribery, and threats against President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., with the case of closely monitored by the public as the trial progresses. Meanwhile, progress in negotiation between the United States and Iran has been acknowledged by U.S. President Donald Trump, who said he is not rushing a possible agreement despite signs of advancement. A ceasefire has been in effect since April 8, while the United States maintains a blockade on Iran following earlier military conflict involving U.S. and Israeli attacks and Iranian retaliation across the region. Reports indicate a draft deal exists, but key issues remain unresolved, including Iran's frozen assets and disputes over nuclear program and uranium enrichment. In another story, China has successfully launched the crewed Shenzhou 23 mission using a Long March 2F rocket from the Zhuchuan Launch Center in the northwestern Gobi Desert. The mission includes China's first astronaut from Hong Kong alongside two other first-time space travelers, all reported to be in good condition after launch. One astronaut will remain in orbit for a full year to study the long-term effects of space flight on the human body, including bone and muscle loss and mental stress. And in the latest international update related to our country, the Department of Migrant Workers reported that 38 Filipino crew members of MV Hondius quarantined in the Netherlands have all tested negative for hantavirus. DMW Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak said the seafarers will remain under quarantine until June 18 as Dutch health authorities continue standard monitoring procedures. Officials said the crew remain in stable condition and have shown no symptoms while under observation aboard the vessel. And that's all for our News at 12, May 26, 2026. We'll be back on Thursday for more news updates. Thanks to our news writers, LJ Lorejo and Ayumi Hernandez. On the technical side, we have Richard Bobbies. Our Provincial Information Officer OIC Marty Gonzalez. Under the supervision of our Governor Noel Irusa. I am Ianne Buitre. Thanks for subscribing.